In science, not all ideas are created equal. You can't just have a hunch and call it a day. An idea has to prove itself. It has to earn its place by climbing what you might call the ladder of scientific truth. So let's break down exactly how an idea makes that climb. All right, here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to follow an idea on its entire journey up that ladder. We'll start at the very bottom, right on the first rung, with the hypothesis. Then we'll watch as it climbs to become a theory. See how it survives the intense pressure cooker of the scientific process. And finally, for very select few, we'll see it reach the absolute pinnacle, a scientific law. We'll even look at some of biology's biggest superstars.
Okay, so every single great scientific journey, every discovery, it all starts with one small step. And on our ladder, that first step is the hypothesis.
So what is a hypothesis, really? Well, it's that first spark, that initial idea. You see something out in the world, it makes you ask a question, and you come up with a possible, testable answer. It's not just some random guess. It's a tentative, an educated explanation based on what you've actually observed. It's the what if that kicks off the whole shebang. And this is absolutely crucial to remember. A hypothesis is just that, the first step. It's the starting block, it is not the finish line. It's got potential, for sure, but it has a really long and tough road ahead before it can be considered anything more.
So how does this simple tentative idea even begin its demanding climb? Well, it's a true trial by fire, a grueling ascent towards becoming a full-blown scientific theory.
This slide here really breaks down that climb perfectly. It all starts with that one original hypothesis that scientists then test relentlessly, over and over. But if it holds up, they're not done. They actually develop new hypotheses based on it and then test those too. It's only after this whole exhaustive cycle of proving and reproving that an idea can finally start to look like a theory. So let's be crystal clear about something. In everyday life, we toss around the word theory to mean a hunch, right? Like, I have a theory about who took the last cookie. In science, it is the exact opposite. A scientific theory is a powerful, rock-solid explanation for a complex piece of our world. It's an idea that has been through the ringer and survived, and because of that, it's earned the power to explain how or why something happens. This brings us to a really fascinating and, honestly, a kind of counterintuitive part of this whole journey. We're calling it the crucible of science, because this is where ideas are truly forged in fire. Now, this might sound a little bit backwards, but it is the absolute heart of scientific integrity. To make sure a theory is legit, scientists don't just sit around looking for evidence that supports it. No, they actively try to break it. They will design experiments specifically to find its flaws, to poke holes in it, to try and disprove the very hypotheses that hold it all together. It's like a constant, relentless stress test. And this right here, this says it all. The strength of a scientific theory doesn't come from being popular or from a lack of challenges. Its strength comes from enduring those challenges. It's an idea that has faced down the smartest people, trying their best to tear it apart, and it's still standing. Its power is in its resilience. Okay, so after all that testing, after all those challenges, there is one final level an idea can possibly reach. It's the very top of the ladder, the absolute pinnacle of scientific certainty. The scientific law. Now, a law isn't an explanation in the same way a theory is. A law is a statement of fact. It describes something about our universe that has been proven true so many times, in so many different ways, that it's just considered a constant and uniform part of reality. It's not about why it happens, it's about the fact that it just does. Putting them side by side like this makes the difference totally clear. A theory explains a phenomenon, the why or the how. A law just states a constant fact of nature, the what. And while a theory might shift a little or evolve as we get new data, a scientific law is considered a fundamental, unchangeable truth of how our universe works. So, what kinds of ideas have actually made it all the way to the top of this ladder? Let's take a look at a couple of bedrock examples from the world of biology. These are the absolute gold standards. You've got Mendel's laws of inheritance, which perfectly describe how traits get passed down through generations. And there's the Hardy-Weinberg law, which lays out how genetic variation stays constant in a population. These aren't just strong ideas, these are considered uniform, constant facts of nature. They're the undisputed laws of biology. And that really brings us to our final thought here. The process of science is always moving, it's always testing, it's always climbing. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? When you look at all the powerful scientific theories we have today, which of them are being put through that crucible right now? And which ones might,
just might, one day make that final climb to the very top of the ladder and become a fundamental law of the universe.